In the second Siche to Parsha Kisovei, in Lekutei Sichos Chelik Yudalet, the Rebbe discusses the pasuk that's written at the end of Parsha Kisovei, that Moshe said to the Eden, that you saw all these miracles, but leinosen Hashem lachem leiv ladas, etc., etc., da'yem hazeh. That still Hashem did not give you the heart to know and the eyes to see till today. And Rashi says, what is the Moshe saying? Hashem did not give them the eyes to see, etc., etc. So Rashi says, lahakir es chazdei HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'ledovik bei, to recognize the kindness of Hashem and to cleave to Him and to connect to Him. And the Rebbe on page 101 is masbir why Rashi uses the word chazdei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the kindness of Hashem, and then he says ledovik bei, that this brings you to have Dveikus, connection, cleaving to Hashem. And the Rebbe explains here why seeing the chazdei Hashem, the kindness of Hashem, brings a person to Dveikus to Hashem, not like recognizing a nes, that doesn't bring to Dveikus. And when the Sicha was given into the Rebbe, it was assumed that the pshat is, why dafke does seeing chazdei Hashem bring a person to Dveikus, not nisim? So what was written in the Sicha, the way it was understood, is because the inyan of Dveikus, cleaving, connection, shows that this is something a person wants on his own. He connects himself. He wants to get close to Hashem. But when you thank Hashem for miracles, that's only a result of the gilui of the Eibishter, the revelation of the Eibishter in the Nes. But you can't call it Dveikus. In other words, the svara was that Dveikus only applies to seeing kindness because that makes you want to get close. But when you see a Nes, all it does is it makes you recognize the greatness of Hashem, but it doesn't cause Dveikus. The Rebbe crossed this out. In other words, this is not the pshat. And the Rebbe wrote a different word. And this is what it says as it's printed in Lekutei Sichos, here, page 101. The Rebbe wrote like this: Nes, when you see a miracle, peil yira, that brings about fear, pshuto and yiras hareimim, whether it's simple fear or the higher level of yiras Hashem, which is yiras hareimim, it brings a person to amunah, to believe that the Eibishter is a keil yochel, things like that. But chesed, when you see the chesed of the Eibishter, and chesed is hashpoah, chesed is kiruv, closeness, chesed is ave, so that brings a person to have kiruv to the Eibishter. And in this case, where he says the word chazdei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, plural, many chasadim, many kindness of the Eibishter, which means it's many, number one, and it's from the Eibishter, which means it's very, very great chesed, that brings a kiruv gadol b'yoser, even a bigger kiruv, a very big kiruv. And that's called Dveikus. So here the Rebbe has a different pshat than we thought. Why dafke seeing the chasadim of Hashem brings you to Dveikus? Not like the svara was, because Dveikus means you want to get close to Him. So if you see chesed, you want to get close. But a nes is not something that you want to do, but it's something that just you recognize the greatness of the Eibishter. This is not the word. The word is that a nes brings you to yira. We're talking here about Dveikus, brings closeness. Chesed brings to closeness. The Eibishter's chesodim, which is very big, and many chesodim, brings you to Dveikus. So this is the pshat that the Rebbe wrote himself, to pshat in what he meant when he said that chesodim, recognizing chesodim, brings to Dveikus.